I am Boyedioju, and I will be right back after this very short break.
Now, hear this. This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State. Whether you're a native of Ibadan or a visitor, Aloore Radio brings you closer to the heart and soul of Oyo State and beyond. Aloore Radio, the online radio that amplifies the voice of Oyo State.
You're welcome back to the studios here in Aloore Radio, transmitting from the GSM Studio Ministry of Information and Orientation. For the benefit of those joining us for the very first time, you are onto the program The H.O.S Speaks. And the program is geared towards fostering relationship between the Office of the Oyo State Head of Service and, of course, the Oyo State Civil and Public Servants here in Oyo State. And on today's edition, here with me in the studios, we have a personality and someone who I would want to refer to as the rave of the moment. He is a man that is at the ends of affairs in Oyo State Civil and Public Service that deals with expected revenue and expenditure of the government in Oyo State. Yes, when you hear budget, when you hear revenue, expenditure, you know we're talking about budgets. Here in Oyo State. Here with me to shed light on issues relating to budget and planning in Oyo State is no other person than the Permanent Secretary, Oyo State Ministry of Budget and Planning, in person of Dr. Sunday Adeyemi Ojelabi. You are welcome on board, sir.
Good afternoon, my dear sister, listeners out there. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You noticed I call you the man, the rave of the moment.
Yes.
And that will send a signal to everybody listening that yes, something is happening already in Oyo State that has to do with budget.
Yes.
I know people listening to us, and especially civil and public servants in Oyo State, are eager to know so much on the issue of budget and its planning in the state. Especially now that the call circular on budget preparation for the year 2024 is already out.
Yes.
Doctor, we would want you to go straight to some questions that the citizens and, of course, the civil and public servants in Oyo State are actually yearning to know about. But I would want to, before I delve into the crux of the matter, as I said earlier, that the call circular is out.
Yes.
In Oyo State.
Definitely.
Okay, let me confirm.
Yes.
Is it out, sir?
Definitely.
It is out for the year 2024.
Yes.
Sir, but there have been some issues concerning this circular coming out, and we want us to quickly deal on those petty ones before we go into the crux of some hard-bone questions.
Okay.
Sir, some are saying that, okay, why are call circulars coming out so late, and they have ministries, agencies, parastatals have to do their job probably within a week? Why is that so, sir?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I know all ministries, departments, and agencies must have prepared themselves towards the exercise, because we know it's a normal thing that we do.
Okay.
Either end of third quarter or very early in fourth quarter, and this is October.
Yes, sir.
You know, we in Oyo State, since the present administration came on board in 2019,
Yes.
we have started stakeholders engagement, wherein we expect the people themselves to tell us their actual needs, and we have to collate all these needs. We just finished, I think, last Friday, we were at Monia for Ibadan Greater City, because they no longer call it lesser city. So it was as a result of that stakeholders engagement that we have to do before we now ask the ministries, departments and agencies that are concerned with those needs that we brought from those stakeholders engagement, that will inform when we have to do the preparatory meeting. And we've been able to endorse all the requests to the relevant ministries, departments and agencies.
Thank you so much for clearing the air on that particular issue. But as you're going forward with what you just said concerning the stakeholders
engagement,
yes. Your Honor, this stakeholders consultative engagement initiative of this government, sir, in what ways has the impact of this initiative actually felt as regarding the budget preparation for the state, especially now that we are at the budget season?
Well, I think Oyo State, and I stand to be challenged, will be the first state government to adopt the approach of a stakeholders consultative meeting or engagement. The benefits are not far-fetched in the sense that you give to the people what they actually said they needed. For instance, giving water to people that need hospitals will be meaningless, and it avoids the people and the citizens the opportunity of owing the budget. Whatever program or project you do for them, they will be in a position to actually own it, because it is what they actually requested for that government will be giving to them. Gone are the days when civil servants will sit in the comfort of our rooms and we expect that we start thinking for people. What does people in Kishi require without going to them? It doesn't work that way. And the sources of what we call bottom-up approach is such that the performance of the budget will be very high. Like we've been getting up to 75-80% budget performance as a result of the stakeholders consultative engagement. I think it's a serious achievement. Then when you look at it, look at the victory of His Excellency at the last election. It was a landslide victory because it's actually giving to people what they require. For instance, if you talk of doing something in health sector, we have 351 wards in Oyo State, 291 primary care center. They are already completed. So 291. There is one in each of the wards. So you can see the governor can move freely among the people. How many of the governors in Nigeria can do this? So you have strict credibility and acceptance of His Excellency because of this approach, because you ask for what benefits. So the people are actually part of what government is doing, which is a great achievement.
It is because it seems that the present government of amiable governor engineer H.O.S Makinde is like bringing the people into
involving them seriously, yes,
into the budget and giving the people what they
actually need.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that clarification. And Your Honor, in this current economic reality, most states of the Federation, and if I may say, the oil producing states,
yes, Rivers, Bayelsa, all of them,
as well as highly commercialized and industrialized states, find it very difficult to finance their budget. However, in Oyo State, financing and assessing funds for the development of various sectors here in Oyo State have witnessed rates of development. What would you attribute to this act of ingenuity?
Well, first of all, let's thank God.
Or is there a magic wand somewhere?
let's thank God and the sagacity and the economic engineering strategy of the man of the moment, our God-sent man, Engineer H.O.S Makinde. And when you look at all the team, he has put round peg in round holes. Go to finance, the Honorable Commissioner, you see him, an expert in finance. Look at our own commissioner, Professor Musbah Adetunji, a professor of economics. Without pushing myself up, I'm a finance expert as well. Look at my director of budget and economics expert. Look at all the directors in the ministry, the director macroeconomic planning, all of them, they are people who are competent in the various aspects. Look at the accountant general, a fellow of ICANN. Go round and see those people who are at the end of affairs in various units. So there are people that know what they are doing, and we've been able to use our expertise in getting things done, and that is the magic. We give it to our overall boss, go to the SSG, see the kind of person that was brought in, a deputy vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan, looking at the head of service. Everybody just look around and see, even those who are permanent secretaries in various sectors, you see that there are people who knows what to do, and they are actually doing it, and that is why we are not having issues in terms of getting the fund and applying the fund without stressing the good citizens of Oyo State.
I like that conclusion. Without stressing.
Yes.
The good people of
No
Oyo
increase
State.
in tax. There is no double taxation. Nothing whatsoever. It's just a matter of, look at the man at the revenue head, Mr. Femi Awakon. He's a fellow of the institute, and you see that what we do is increasing the tax net in order to bring in more people without actually bothering our people with unnecessary tax incidents.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Moving ahead, in the course of this, in accordance to prevailing economic situation as well, sir,
Yes.
would I be safe to say, ask which budget model is being adopted by the Oyo State government due to federal government to have so much transition, ease, and all sorts?
Well, without bothering our listeners much, there are different budgetary approach. You can have deficit budgeting, you can have surplus budgeting, you can have balanced budget, and what we adopt in Oyo State is more of a balanced budget, which is based on budget, which is based on performance. So it is based on this that we are able to make sure that it is what we receive, what we intend to generate, that we tend to spend. That is, there is a balance between expected revenue and actual expenditure. Like the 2023 budget provides a revenue of about 310 billion, while the expected spending too is equally 310 billion. As far as federal government own is concerned, I think I can target deficit budget system or model, because most of the budget is being financed through loan. As far as federal government own is concerned, it's not what they want to receive that they want to spend.
That's interesting, sir. Sir, I quickly want to ask this question based on the season that we are here in Oyo State. We are the budget season right now, sir. And again, there's another issue that is actually on the minds of some civil servants concerning this budget preparation, and that has to do with the budget ceiling figure.
Okay.
Budget ceiling figure. Some ministries have it like the ceiling, they have so much, and the ceiling figure is pegged. Is there anything the Ministry of Budget, is there any solution to that?
Good. Well, there is a solution to that, and in fact we've had some ministries already coming up to say that they have so much as a result of the needs that we brought from the field, from the stakeholders engagement. And you see, gone are the days when you see budget exercise as a routine something that is just once you just sit down and start giving figures. We cannot do everything within the same year. The current administration has 4 years to go, and will be 2024 2025, 2026, and 2027. Even though we have a ceiling, but if you have reasonable justification, there could be little that could be adjusted. There could be little, and and that is the essence of having pre-treasury meeting. You know, it will be full of all technical experts. All of us will be there. People that are relevant to budget exercise, while each of the ministry, department, and the agency will come around. If you are able to convince us, but whatever it is, we want to be able to have a budget that we can finance, because there is no point putting something where you not get the revenue to finance it, and that has been the guiding principle. So though we have a ceiling, there could be little adjustment based on the ability of the ministry, department, or agency to convince the technical committee at the treasury meeting. And you know, after the treasury, what happens? We go to the treasury, and fortunately His Excellency is the chairman of the treasury board meeting, where little will still be added, and you have the next line of action is at the appropriation stage at the House of Assembly, because the Constitution allows the House of Assembly to, but it has to be in line with the thinking of the administration. So before budget is adjusted, either up or down.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. We thank God for the administration here in Oyo State, that it's people friendly. They think about the people, even up to the point of preparation of the budget in Oyo State. So much kudos to Igbo Governor Engineer Sheyi Makinde. And on that note, we will want to go on a very short break at the moment, but please stay tuned. And for you to join us on this conversation, you can still call the studio line, which is 090-398-53731. Again, the studio line is 0903-9853-731. Please stay tuned.
We bring you everything from breaking news.
President must know that this is a bad time for our nation. We must look for foreign support to save this nation.
World news, sport, music,
Bella just want me with you like guys,
and many more. To listen to our programs, follow us live on all our social media platforms, on Facebook at Aloore Radio, Twitter and Instagram at Aloore Radio. You can also subscribe on our YouTube page on Aloore Radio. Make sure you click on the notification bell so you know when we are live. This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State. From the great city of Ibadan. Your number one online radio station. We are the voice of Oyo State. Aloore Radio. In a fast-paced world, staying informed is more important than ever. From local events to global affairs, we've got you covered. Get ready to dive into the hearts of the news. It's World News on Aloore Radio.
You're welcome back to the program. The H.O.S Speaks here on Aloore Radio. We are transmitting from the GSM studio, Ministry of Information and Orientation. And still with me on the program is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Budget and Planning here in Oyo State, in person of the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Adeyemi Ojelabi. Thank you for being with us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, sir. So I continue with the line of thoughts that we are actually going through. We know, but everybody, let me say nobody, everybody understands the scarcity of resources, which is actually hitting not only Oyo State, it's hitting the federation as it were. And although which we have alternative or competing users, and my question is, how is this budget that is being planned in Oyo State? How are you going to prioritize the sectors of the state economy for resource allocation?
Well, thank you. You see, we thank God the present administration is coming back for the second tenure.
Yes.
So, you know, we already have a template where the state government has prioritized all the different sectors without ignoring any of the sector. Name it economy, name it infrastructure, the social sector, health, education, security, and what have we. So if you look at the 2023 budget, in terms of getting resources, maybe I should add this.
All right, sir.
There is what we call alternative project funding approach, where the state will engage the contractor, they will go and start the work, use their money, while we make effort to fund them as money comes. So with that, we've been able to at least prioritize most of our projects and programs, and with that, you know, we have some space in terms of the contractor doing it first, then you see, like the Adamasingba SWOT complex,
Okay.
that was what was used, and some other projects like that. So on prioritization of the sectors, I want to assure us, like the current budget, education has about 18.7% of, and what is the UNESCO something? You know, if you look at the UNESCO requirement, maybe about 20% or whatever to education, we are almost there, because it is the current administration that has spent so much on education. So the assurance I want to give to the citizens is that all the sectors, no sector will be left untouched, and all of them will be prioritized. For instance, when the His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde flag off that stakeholders engagement last month at the University of Ibadan, he said the initial priority when it was in his first time was linking all the geopolitical zone of the state to Ibadan. For instance, Moniya is saying has been done based on the request of the people. We have done that. The state government has done that. Oyo is saying, even though a federal road has been connected, already commissioned, is saying Fakote, Ogbomoso, that axis because of LavTech campus that was taken to Iseyin. You know, there is a direct link between Iseyin now. In fact, we took that route while we were going to Kishi. So it's almost completed. Iwajowa, Iwerele, Asis, Igono, Igogon, Igbora, Erua Ibadan is already connected, is ongoing as we are speaking. So you discover that the state government has been able to prioritize almost all sectors. I've spoken about the issue of health the other time. 291 out of 351, we are almost there. Education sector, work is going. The people of Iseyin and Okeogun asked for a campus of LavTech, which is already given, and I know by this October, the students will resume there. So take almost all aspects of the economy. So we have already prioritized, and going by what we have in our budget this year, there won't be any serious deviation from what we have, because the state government has been able to set all the priorities, capturing all sectors of the economy.
That's a good news.
So agriculture is there, infrastructure. If you look at this circular road is already been done by. In fact, the flyover at is if a hand has been completed, and that of Lagos very close to Tekio. So it's only the construction of the bridges that is they are almost completed.
Yes, I've seen
within.
that. I've seen that as well.
So we have prioritized almost everything that require prioritization.
That's a very good news for the citizens, and that's a laudable one from the government as well. Your Honor, your state government under this administration of executive governor of your state, Engineer H.O.S Makinde, we can say is performing its best in the provision of palliatives for the general citizens of the state to cushion this devastating effect on the subsidy removal on petroleum. Your Honor, what should the expectation of the people of the state be towards this direction in the forthcoming 2024 budget?
Okay, thank you. I think for those who have been following the position of His Excellency, Engineer H.O.S Makinde, when you define palliative, how do you see palliative? Temporary measure.
Yes.
It means you may not have identified the likely symptoms as such, but you just want to give a remedy. It's like somebody having headache. The palliative might be, first of all, take paracetamol. So if you take paracetamol, and those people, when they advertise, they say, if after 2 days headache persists, see your doctor. Why don't you see your doctor before taking paracetamol? So our own governor has been able to sit down. Instead of palliative, he came up with SAVER, sustainable action for economic recovery. Already, even though the federal said they have about 5 billion, though both in cash and in kind, and I want to observe that the first phase of palliative distribution has been done in the state, which everybody can testify to. And presently, apart from money that was released by the federal, state has added, even local government added their own amount to the extent that all the different sectors, like agric, those in youth sector, the empowerment of youth was part of what is captured. Small and medium scale enterprises, they are equally captured. So it will be in line with that. And when you look at it, the chairman of the palliative something in Oyo State is our able chief of staff, Honorable Ogunwuyi. We have various commissioners there. So these are our political heads, and it will be in line with that those elements that will even go beyond palliative, SAVER, is already being captured in 2024 budget of the state.
Thank you so
To
much
make
for
it something that is enduring, not just a remedial measure.
Thank you. Again, I believe the people of Oyo State will be super glad to
Yes,
know that that's
sure. And even to add, even people are already obtaining funds from the designated microfinance banks that will be used to assist the people. People have collected funds, and I know money will soon be distributed to intending people that showed interest. Yes. So these are our micro business people.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. We've been talking with the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Budget and Planning here in Oyo State, Dr. Adeyemi Ojelabi. And rounding off on the program, there are two aspects of questions that I would want to use to round off this program for today. And I want to ask this question because we have the authority and the professional here with us today, because there have been so many confusion as per these terms and this concept that I would want to list. And since you are here with us, it's better to ask from the professionals and those that know their onions. I would want Your Honor to kindly shed more light on the following seemingly confusing concepts for the sake of our listeners and viewers. They are fiscal planning, economic planning, and the last one, development planning.
Thank you.
Yes, we start with the fiscal planning.
Well, the common concept among the three is the element of planning. And then when you look at the functions of management, planning is one of the crucial functions. And what does planning entail? Designing, having a prior knowledge of what you want to do. You now arrange or set out to achieve those things you want to do and getting it done the way you want it to be done, without or taking proper care of whatever variation along the line, so that you have intended result, at least for the benefit of even the lay people that are there. So when you talk of fiscal, majorly when you talk of addressing economic issues in the country, you have monetary aspect, you have the fiscal aspect. The fiscal we are talking about, I believe, is FISCAL. So the fiscal, they have to do with non-monetary intervention on the part of government, which have to do with administration of tax, levies, and fines. So when you talk of fiscal planning, you want to see either you want to increase or reduce tax, so that if you are either increasing or reducing tax in order to adjust the disposable income that people have, then it could assist you in redistributing income. For instance, you can tax, if the government goes into taxing the rich in order to redistribute well, that's part of fiscal planning. Yes.
What about the economic planning? Little bit of
economic planning has to do with good. If you make effort in terms of sectoral allocation of conscious effort now, in terms of addressing maybe medium-term sector strategy as well as medium-term expenditure framework, there are those things that we use in sectoral allocation of resources. So that is economic planning. Development planning is the overarching planning that has global view. In terms of that economic planning, you know, I made use of the word medium term, which may not be more than 3 years. For instance, we have a medium term expenditure framework of maybe 2023 to 2025, 2024 to 2026. Those are economic planning instruments. So when you talk of development, is the overall view in terms of long-term planning. For instance, where does Oyo State want to be in 2040? We already have Agenda 2040 that captures about 20 years. So, and it's almost completed to be launched, so that we're already thinking in terms of, you know, for instance, this idea of circular road. Somebody thought about it, even though they've not been able to materialize it, but the current administration, you know, some people will mistakenly go and buy land there. But the plan is already there long before now, because they already know that if you don't have business in the whole road, if you are coming from Ife, you don't have anything doing in the town, just move from there and get to Lagos. The same thing will happen at this other side, so that if you don't have business, you want to get to Oyo, you might just at that same point you bust out maybe towards Fititi or somewhere, and that will have solved a lot of problems. So for our long-term planning, that has to do with development planning.
Thank you so much. At least that I know that if not others out there, I too have been able to understand better these terms. Yeah. Now, to round off the program for today, Your Honor, is this issue of assessing budgets.
Okay.
We do budget all year, let me say all year long, trying to make sure that, okay, the ministries, departments, agencies we'll get it done already. This is the amount we would be needing, which are even which are genuine. They're new. It is for the work of the government. But now, to actually do it, to actually assess. So please, I need you to just help us and talk about why are we not assessing this budget as it were.
Well, the purview of budget and economic planning, part of our mandate, the major mandate.
Yes, sir.
I hope you will follow me properly, and for
Alright.
the benefits of those who are outside there.
Exactly.
Assessing the budget, the work of our own ministry.
Okay.
The budget process is we get to the people because of the bottom up approach. We find out from people what do you need. We integrate it, send it to the various ministries to integrate and bring them up and budget for, make provision for those programs and projects and the needs of the people. So in terms of assessment, I want to say that our own ministry is not involved in terms of, it is only when you don't have provision that will come in. There are occasions when things will come up.
There's no provision on the budget.
So, and I know we have been doing our best to ensure that whatever is to be done humanly, we have always been doing it by ensuring that no ministry will say, we want to do this, there is no provision for it. We will normally assist, but assessing, I think different ministry is involved. Yes.
Alright, sir. Thank you for that clarification, sir. And that's a wrap for today on the program, The H.O.S Speaks, here on Aloore Radio, transmitting from the GSM Studio Ministry of Information and Orientation. Today we've been conversing with the Permanent Secretary of your State Ministry of Budget and Planning in person of Dr. Adeyemi Ojelabi. We thank you again, Your Honor, for granting us this time out of your busy schedule, knowing that this is your era and this is your time here in Oyo State at the moment. And I want to use this opportunity to thank the directors that actually came with the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Budget and Planning. I have Director Macroeconomic Planning here with us, Mr. Adediro A.A. I also have the Director Budget, Mr. Abiodun Oni. Also here with the Permanent Secretary is Mrs. Adenyoju Olubumi, Director Finance and Accounts. And also here with the Director Admin and Supplies, Dr. Mrs. Tanimola Fumilayo. We sincerely appreciate you all for coming with the Permanent Secretary, and of course not leaving out the Ministry's Media Officer in the person of Mrs. Modupe Taiwo. We really appreciate all of you that came on the entourage of the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Budget and Planning. Listeners out there, we've come to the end of another interesting edition today. Would want you to join us on the same program. The program comes up every fortnight, and the next program will be coming up on the 26th of October at the same time, 1 p.m. on the 26th of October, where we will be bringing to you the permanent. All right, sir. I will give you the time to do that, sir.
Thank you.
We'll bring you for Thursday 26th. We'll be bringing to you the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. I want you to do prepare yourself to be a part of the program. It will be coming up on the fortnight, which is the 26th of October by 1 p.m. here on Aloore. And before we round it off on this program, I will want the honor to give us the rounding talk.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me appreciate the anchor of the program for giving us the opportunity. However, I start from His Excellency, our God sent man, because to God be all the glory. God has used him to place us where we are today. So I appreciate all our political leaders in the state. My appreciation equally goes to our head of service, Mrs. Olubumi MNI, So I've taken all the political heads, but I will make special mention of the SSG, Professor Adeyemo, Mrs. Adeyemo, my Honorable Commissioner, Professor Musba Babatunde, Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Aloore, all other heads of departments, heads of ministries, all permanent secretaries, those in our group, the general managers, tutor generals, inspector generals, provosts, and all other heads of non-ministerial department. So it has been a teamwork, because there is nowhere we went to. The House of Assembly members, the commissioners, all of them, all political appointees, they were all present with us at the stakeholders engagement. I want to appreciate all of them for being there for us. My senior special assistant to Honorable Ogusoya, then the executive assistant on finance and economic planning, Alhaji Gava Bello. All of them have been wonderful people. They have been able to assist us in getting results up to this level. The chief of staff, when we were at Ogbomoso, he was there, the deputy governor, all of them, the honorable speaker, honorable commissioners, the one of local government actually represented the governor at the Ibadan Greater City. Honorable Demolo Ojo represented His Excellency at Aloore when we did that of Ibarapa. The SSG represented His Excellency when we did that of Hussein. The kind of reception we received there, our people are very wonderful. So I want to place it on record and appreciate all of them for being there for us and for actually making all these things happen. To the host ministry here, let me appreciate the Honorable Commissioner, Prince Dr. Yelade, and the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Ladipo. So they are wonderful people, and we thank them for the opportunity you have given to us. To all your team here, we are grateful because you've been able to make people to hear us, to see us, and to know what we are doing in our ministry. So gone are the days when we just sit down in offices. We now put things, we start thinking, what will Kishi people need? What will Ibarapa people need? You see, all the developmental programs in the 7 geopolitical zone have actually been feedback from the stakeholders engagement. And I will not leave out all my people, all the directors, the staff of the ministry. They are wonderful people. The Accountant General too has been very cooperative. The Permanent Secretary, Finance, I have to, we work together. Finance, budget, and economic planning used to be together before. But all of them, they have been making our work very easy. So thank you
so much, sir.
And to you, Anchor, I
so
appreciate you and your team.
Much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And on that note, we have come into the end of the program for today. But before I go, I will many thanks to my studio manager, DJ Aloore, and the man behind the camera, Mr. Joy, and I remain your host, Aboyede Uju. Thank you. Till we'll see you fortnight.
From the great city of Ibadan, your number one online radio station. We are the voice of Oyo State. Aloore Radio. In a fast-paced world, staying informed is more important than ever. From local events to global